Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to be going over all of my recommendations for the Sephora VIB sale. You know, I was kind of a little bit unsure about whether or not I wanted to do a Sephora VIB sale recommendations. I don't know why, but it just felt a little bit strange to do considering everything that's going on in the world right now. I asked you guys on Instagram what you thought, what you wanted to see. I got kind of like an overwhelming yes, just do it. Even if you're not really planning on shopping now, it's still fun to see maybe like recommendations. So even if you're not shopping the sale, these are still products that I think are really great. They're some of my current favorites. They're also products that I kind of wanted to gear towards like the spring and summertime since it is kind of heating up a little bit. A lot of these really are reminiscent of spring for me, so it's kind of like a spring inspired favorites video, if you please. I also wanted to take this opportunity to do something special for you guys. So I am hosting a little giveaway, which I'll talk about a little bit more at the end of the video, but I'm gonna be giving away five $50 gift cards to Sephora. I've said this before and I will say it again, makeup really isn't just makeup. Makeup does provide a lot of like happiness and entertainment and just kind of like normality to our everyday lives. And so I really wanted to give a gift of makeup to some of you guys, and I really hope that you're excited for it. I'm really excited. So stay tuned to the end to find out how to enter. So I do a video like this pretty much every single time there is a Sephora sale. So I'll link some of my other videos that I have done in the description box in case you want to get some other recommendations. So the first product category that I want to touch on is gloss, because I have two gloss formulas that I feel very deeply for and I'm very excited about. So first, let's talk about what I'm wearing on my lips. This is the Kosas Wet Lip Oil in the shade Dip. Now I do know that this does come in a couple different shades. I haven't tried any of the other shades. This shade, however, is the most perfect rosy nude gloss, very reminiscent of the Fenty Gloss Bomb in, I don't know the name. Why is it totally escaping me? The original Gloss Bomb. You guys know which one I'm talking about. It's kind of a similar color. This one is though a little bit darker. This has been probably my most used like day-to-day lip gloss. I honestly wear this even when I'm literally just lounging in sweatpants, no makeup on, and I look like a complete mess. I will just continuously reapply this because it just feels so good on the lips. It is called a lip oil. And I wouldn't really say it necessarily has like an oily or lip oil texture, but it definitely feels very hydrating. It feels very comfortable. It feels very like buttery on the lips. So it just makes it such a nice and pleasant lip product to wear. And I also love the effect that it gives to the lips. It makes the lips look really nice and glossy and wet-like. So if you're looking for a gloss that has that your lips but better color, that is really comfortable to wear, that has some really nice shine, this is a really awesome one to check out. The next lip gloss that I want to talk about is from a brand that I've recently started to dabble into. I feel like they're kind of new on the scene, but they're gaining a lot of traction. I've been hearing a lot of people talk about them, and I think for good reason, because their products are really nice. I actually have something else from this brand that I'm going to be talking about a little bit later, and that brand is Tower 28. I have all of their glosses here, and I really wanted to highly recommend these because they are unfreaking real. Okay, I'm gonna take off the gloss that I'm wearing now so that I could put on one of these because you guys need to see what this looks like on the lips. Just talking about it really isn't enough. So I think these are all of the gloss colors that they have in their collection. There's a clear one, a purple, a red, an iridescent, kind of like a raspberry color, and then a bright orange. I really do love all of these genuinely, but my two favorites, if I had to choose, would be these two guys. The orange one called Fire, and then this like jelly raspberry color called XOXO. So I'm gonna show you guys what both of them look like on the lips. So let's first try XOXO. So this lip gloss feels kind of like how I would have expected the Kosas lip gloss to feel. It feels actually, I don't want to say oily, but it's very lightweight. Because of the texture of the gloss, because it's so lightweight and it has this kind of jelly texture, it envelops the lip. So it kind of sits right on top of it. So it makes your lips look so plump and juicy, and it creates this gorgeous like mirror-like shine on the lips that's really just incredible. Okay, so Fire is this bright orange, and it looks really intense in the tube, but you're gonna see it just adds just a hint of color. This is perfect if you want a nice bright lip, but you don't want to go too intense. So this is Fire. You can see it just has this really pretty orangey undertone to it. So nice. Okay, I'm gonna swatch one more for you guys. This is the bright red called Spicy. And this is spicy, kind of similar to XOXO, which just has more of a red undertone rather than a pink undertone. So these are 10 on 10, A+++, and I can guarantee you I'm gonna be wearing the shit out of them throughout the entire spring and summertime. So moving from gloss to blush, but still staying within the realm of Tower 28. I have the Tower 28 Beach Please blushes. And actually, because these are creams, you can totally use these on your lips as well. So this could be a lip product. It's not just a cheek product. So you guys know how much I love creams. It's definitely no secret, but in the spring and summertime, I feel like I almost exclusively use cream products on my cheeks just because I feel like it adds to that like fresh summery glow that I always try and get. Now this is a very balmy and emollient formula. When you touch it, it almost feels like it's melting with the heat of your hand. So because this is such a creamy and emollient formula, you do have to be a little bit careful when you're applying it, because when you go in to pick up the product, you may actually pick up a little bit too much product. So you gotta go in very, very lightly. That's just like a little tip that I've learned, and a little bit really goes a long way, and you're able to create the most stunning flush of color on the cheeks with this blush. Like they're very, very, very pigmented, but also not so crazy pigmented where it makes it difficult to blend out or wear. It's actually the opposite. And what I like about these is that even though these are super creamy, when you actually end up blending it out on your skin, it doesn't stay tacky or sticky, which is something that I notice a lot with cream blushes, which can be a little bit annoying and frustrating. And I think that's why a lot of people don't like wearing them, because nobody likes the feeling of sticky makeup on their face. The colors that they come in are also so fun, and even though some of them may look really bright, they are still wearable, and I feel like very versatile for a lot of different skin tones. I am wearing a little bit of a cream blush on my cheeks right now, but I'll put a little bit more just so you guys can see what it looks like. So you know what, I'm gonna take a little bit of Golden Hour and just do a little tap tap on both cheeks, and then just blend it out. And you see how a little bit of that went quite a long way. I pretty much just did a light tap, and that was able to cover both of my cheeks. So those are the Tower 28 blushes. Obsessed with these. Definitely think they're worth checking out. So I totally forgot that MAC was sold at Sephora. So it's definitely a great opportunity to pick up some of your MAC favorites that you may be running low on. And I was very excited to see that Sephora also carries the MAC Glow Play blushes. I was so up this blush's ass at one point. Like it was the only thing that I was talking about. I had to give it a little bit of a break, but I wanted to bring it back out again, recommend it for the sale. So this is the Glow Play formula. Now these are a little bit different, well actually very different than a typical blush. Now it's kind of a hybrid between a cream and a powder blush. So you can see when I press into the blush, it does leave a little bit of an indent. So it does have kind of like that creamy formula, but it's definitely not a traditional cream blush. I don't know if these still exist, but the Maybelline Dream Bounty blushes is probably the most similar formula to these. So the texture of this blush really makes for a very natural looking finish on the skin, which is what I like so much about it. You can apply this in a couple different ways, using your finger or using a brush. No matter how you apply it though, you're still gonna get a really just nice wash of color to the cheeks. What I love most about these blushes is the glow that they have. All the shades within the range have this really stunning reflection. None of them really have shimmer to them. So that finish paired with the texture of this blush creates a really natural looking blush on the cheeks, and it also just gives such a nice fresh appearance because of that glow. For me personally, when I apply any of the Glow Play blushes to my cheeks, I don't apply a highlighter on top because it just adds such a nice glow on its own, so it also saves me a step, which is nice. Okay, so now let's move on to some complexion products. I have a primer, a foundation, and 2 concealers. So starting off first with the primer, I wanted to mention the primer that has impressed me the most as of late, and that's the Tatcha, the Liquid Silk Canvas. So this primer is essentially supposed to create like a silky base on your skin so that your foundation applies extra smooth. Normally with primers like these, my skin essentially rejects it. The primer will normally like pill on my skin, and it will just look extra dry and horrible, and it won't like adhere to the foundation. It's the weirdest thing. It just never really works. I could very confidently say that this is the very first smoothing primer that has successfully made my foundation look so much smoother. Like I was shocked when I applied my foundation on top of this because it almost looked like I had a Facetune filter on. What I really like about it is that it doesn't feel like a typical silicone primer. It feels instead just very silky, and it just glides over all of your pores. It glides over all of your texture, and it just makes for such a smooth layer for your foundation to be put on top. I know that Tatcha also has a similar primer, but it's in a balm formula. I like that one, but I find it's a little bit difficult to use. If you use too much, then it will start to pill and get crazy looking on the skin. This guy, however, I feel like is way easier to use. I feel like you don't have to worry about applying too much, and it will still just work really nicely, and I've never had any pilling issues with it. So next I have a foundation that you may not be surprised to hear about because I have been talking your ear off about this product. This is the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation. I have found so many foundations throughout the years that work really well for my skin, but there's only a select few that I would trust with anything, that I would put on like for my wedding day, you know? And this foundation is one of those foundations that I put all my trust in. This foundation truly is like my perfect foundation. It gives me a medium coverage, or it can give me a light coverage if I sheer it out. It has a beautiful natural looking finish, so it's kind of in between more of a dewy and satin. It just gives the most perfect amount of glow where it's not over the top, just looks like skin. Besides having a natural finish, it's also natural looking, so this is a foundation that, if applied in the right way, will look like skin. And then the little cherry right on top of the sundae for this foundation is that it lasts so well. It looks just as good when I first apply it to right to the end of the day. And then like the little cherry on top of the cherry is that it matches me so perfectly. This color 240 Quartz, oh my God, I've never found such a good foundation match. There are also very few foundations that I happily wear day to day, but I would also wear for an event when I want more coverage, when I want to be like photo ready. And just depending on how I apply this, I'm able to get an everyday look and also more of a full glam look, and I love it for that. So I mean, if you're looking for a new foundation to try, this may be your guy. So next I've got two concealers that I want to recommend, the Hourglass Vanish as well as the Pat McGrath Sublime. What's that what it's called? The Skin Finish Sublime. So starting off first with the Pat McGrath concealer. This has been one of my go-to medium to full coverage concealers. This concealer just does a really good job in making your under eyes look pretty flawless without being heavy. When it comes to full coverage concealers, that's typically my issue. Like, I like the way it covers, but it just looks so heavy underneath the eyes. I don't get that with this. I find that it's really just that perfect consistency, and that's what I really like about it. For something that's more on like the light medium coverage side, I would go for the Hourglass concealer. Oh my God, I love this. This paired with the Shiseido foundation has been like my go-to combination. They paired together so beautifully. Similar to the Pat McGrath concealer, I find that this covers really well, but it doesn't look heavy underneath the eyes either. But what really makes me love this concealer is that even when my under eyes are acting up a little bit, like even when they're very dry or flaky or textured, this concealer just still goes on so smoothly and beautifully. Like, it never ever highlights my dryness underneath my eyes. If my under eyes are at that point, it will always just make them look really nice and fresh. I also knocked it out of the park when I chose my shade for this one because it matches me so well. This is in the shade Cedar, and it just, again, pairs perfectly with 240 Quartz, baby. All right, so let's talk a little bit about eyes. I have a fun cream eyeshadow here that I thought would be a great recommendation again for the spring and summer. I don't know about you guys, but I find I get so much more creative and playful with my makeup and the colors that I choose to wear, especially on my eyes when the warmer weather comes around. Lately, I've actually been playing a lot with pastels on my eyes. I just think it's such a fun color to wear. And these cream eyeshadows from Huda Beauty, these are the matte and metal melted shadows, have been my go-to for those more like bright pastel look. I've actually been playing with the Huda Beauty matte and metal shadows for a while now. I find that they're just so easy to wear and they're so pigmented, and they really give a lot of pop to the eye. So each product comes with two different shades. You have a matte side, then more of like a shimmery glittery side, and they're meant to obviously complement each other. What I really like about these is that they're so easy to use, and you get quite an intense effect with just one product, and you're able to get also a full look with just this one product. So what I normally do is I'll take the matte side and I'll just kind of dispense a little bit on the back of my hand, and I'll take a flat brush and just apply the color all over my lid. Take a fluffy brush, blend out the crease, and then sometimes I'll just leave it at that, or I'll go in with the shimmery side. And again, I'll just put a little bit on the back of my hand, pick it up with my finger, and just dab it all over my lid. And they're also really versatile products. You don't only have to put these all over your lid. You can dispense some of the product, take like a small angled brush like this and use it as an eyeliner. So you can use it in a couple different ways, which is great as well. So if you want to play with some color, these are a great way to do it. And again, just super easy. So another eye product that I think is really worth checking out are the Roen eyeshadow palettes. This one in particular is in 52. It has kind of like more cool tone shades. What I think is really cool about the Roen eyeshadows is that they are fairly unique compared to other more typical eyeshadow palettes. The formula is very similar almost to like the MAC Glow Play blushes. They have this really interesting powdery and creamy consistency to them. So when you apply the colors to your lid, they give your lid the most amazing, almost like wet look. Because they do have so much pop to them, on their own. You don't really have to go in with many other eyeshadows to create a look. Like you can take one of these, swipe it all over the lid, and then just take a blending brush and blend out the edges, and you can be done and have a really, really gorgeous look that has still like a lot of complexity to it because the color is so interesting in and of itself. They kind of just give me like a cool girl supermodel off-duty vibe, and I love it. So I thought I would mention also some sunscreens in my recommendations because of course, you should be wearing a sunscreen every single day as part of your skincare routine. And I have two SPFs that I adore that I find work really well with makeup and on their own. So the first one that I want to recommend, I actually don't have here with me because I finished it. So I'll just pop a picture up so you can see what it looks like. But it's the Joe's Maran SPF. I just love this. I've been using it for years. I find a lot of the times SPFs can dry out your face. This one, however, I find is so moisturizing. I actually find that my foundation applies so nicely on top of this product, which is kind of like a nice bonus to have with an SPF. So I do find that this leaves like a nice moisturized feeling layer on my face, but it doesn't feel greasy at all. And it also just doesn't feel gross in general. So that is definitely a great one that I would recommend. Another one that I do have here with me is from Roen. This is the Clean Screen Mineral SPF 30 Mattifying Face Cream. So this is an SPF that is not greasy whatsoever. So especially if you do have more of an oilier skin type, you may love this because it's not going to add any extra like oiliness to your skin. It's actually such a weird consistency because as soon as you blend it into your skin, it's almost like it disappears. It leaves zero residue on the skin. So this is another one that I really do like to wear underneath makeup, especially because I don't find that it disturbs it at all. It also has very little scent to it, if anything at all. It barely even smells like SPF. All right, guys, so that is it for all of my recommendations for the Sephora VIB sale. Now let's just quickly talk a little bit about the giveaways. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I just hope that whoever wins these gift cards will just get a little joy out of it. That's all I could really hope for, and that's all I really want. So there's not going to be any crazy like things that you need to do in order to enter this giveaway. The first thing is obviously just to be subscribed because this is for my subscribers. The second thing, like this video. And the third and most important thing that you need to do to enter is to comment something that you're grateful for, and also leave your Instagram handle or your Twitter handle in your comments so that I could contact you if you are one of the winners. All the other nitty-gritty details will just be in the description box down below. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Don't forget to let me know all of your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next one.